Not a good podcast.
This is Not a Good Podcast with PB and Johnny V, episode 4. In this episode, shapeshifters, trigger-happy rednecks, and going full-tilt fisticuffs.
Here we go.
I can't hear you.
We're off to a great start.
Man, you really built that up.
I was ready to go after that.
Yeah, man. It's like listening to AC/DC before like a football game starts. We're like ready to go, and then it's like game got canceled. Like,
Okay, yeah, I was just muted.
We saw thunder out in the
about that.
field, so we're going
Let's
to
start over.
man, what a way to start.
Yeah.
So sorry.
It's very on brand.
We need to talk somebody else into coming here running tech. We can't pay you, but we'll
We'll make some good salmon right before. A little dry.
how's everybody's week?
Good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. The kids and my wife are leaving Wednesday. Again.
Samesies.
Yeah, but they'll be gone for
You have no idea
half a week.
where they're going or what
I
they're
don't know
doing.
where they're
They don't
going.
care about you.
Well, they're going for half a week, and then I'm going to join them for a week, and then they're going to stay for another half a week.
Man, that's a lonely life.
It's okay.
It's very lonely.
Yeah. I held an alligator yesterday out of our backyard. That's pretty cool.
How big was it?
5'7".
5'7".
5'7".
That's bigger than that's longer than my wife. You're like 5'2". That's like holding my wife. A bigger version of my wife.
Scalier.
Just a little extra. Hey, speaking of reptiles,
Ugh.
let's just get right into it.
Okay, let's go for it.
Reptilian shapeshifters.
Oh yeah,
They're
How do you feel about them?
the one
they're real.
The one about the lady screaming on the plane.
Yeah.
It's an American airline flight because I've taken a few of those in my life, and there's some weirdos on those planes.
Was that in air while that was happening?
It was right before they were about to take off.
So did they ground the plane, or did they?
I just think they never took off. I think it was like 3 hours later.
Oh my goodness! So
Yeah.
so she started flipping out.
and the guy behind, just kind of fill us into with the story. What?
So I believe it was July 3rd or July 4th when this actually happened. They were leaving, I believe it was Dallas, all on the plane. Lady starts freaking out. The flight crew's trying to calm her down. And then finally, if you've seen the video, she starts storming off the plane, screaming, cussing. And then she turns around, and these are, it's all videos from people filming it. And there's actually 2 separate videos that are out there that I've seen.
Okay.
Different angles. And she basically just says, I don't want to stay on this plane and die. You all can if you want to, and then leaves. And there was this guy with a hoodie,
Yeah, I've seen the video with the guy with the hoodie.
supposedly blinked vertically.
Well, he winked at the guy behind him. The story goes, and the guy behind him said he winked vertically.
Yeah.
That freaked me out
Yeah.
for a second, and then I'd be kind of interested in it.
I said, "What do you know?"
Yeah, I think
They know a lot.
that they're all demonic. These alien encounters that people are having are very demonic. And now that we're getting towards the end times, they're starting to reveal themselves.
Yeah, slow
more
leaks.
and more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty brazen. I mean, look at, when we were growing up, you never really saw UFO encounters on the news. And I mean, every once in a while, you might have heard of a crop circle, and then signs came out, and then, like
They would always interview the guy.
Is that always,
Yeah, we saw it out in the field over yonder. Right above Lucille's barn. Came
They're real.
whirling around and took right off.
But I'm telling you, man, hey, I saw
That was
one
my cousin.
one time. I saw one, and I'm no joke. I was out in the field.
A crop circle?
No, a UFO.
So we told your wife to mute her phone, but she dropped her phone. It's okay. Hey, Hey, we got all 3 wives.
I'm trying to make a living here, Rick.
It's basically a live studio audience over here.
Yeah,
I've got mouths to feed, and she's back here farting around.
Where are your kids?
How many kids do we all have? Like between the 3 of us?
Between the 3 of us, we've got 11.
Wait, we're getting a no? 9.
9?
9.
Between everyone?
It's enough to where if we lost one, it'd be okay.
We wouldn't know for a while.
Right.
Right? We wouldn't know. You're like, oh, with the other
Like
kid.
you could have a full day
Yeah.
with our whole families and forget one at the house, and we'll be like, oh my gosh, I forgot Tiffany. You know, like,
That's not her name. You don't know your kids' names. So you're in a crop circle.
I wasn't in a crop circle. So I was a corpsman. So for those who are in the Marine Corps or attached to a Marine unit, I was stationed in Camp Pendleton. I was out in the field, and we must have been out in the field for 2 or 3 weeks. And I was sitting on the side of this mountain, and it was right next to, if they're familiar with Camp Pendleton School of Infantry, they're familiar with the ankle breaker.
Yeah.
And so we were filming, or not filming, sorry. We were in the field out there for a few weeks, and I had laid my sleeping mat out where all the other instructors were, and we were just talking, and as I was laying back, it was probably midnight, and I was looking up at the stars, and it was super clear, and I thought that I saw a satellite going over, and I know what satellites look like because I mean I've watched them, and all of a sudden this satellite stopped.
Yeah.
It stopped. No kidding.
Like,
And the staff sergeant sitting next to I was laying down and I sat up. The staff sergeant looked at me. He's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "Do you see that?" He's like, "What?" And I stood up. And when I stood up, it flashed a bright light and it went straight up.
you never told me this.
I'm not
That's
joking. I was freaking out. I was like, "Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that?" And they were like, "Doc, what is it? I'm telling you, man, to this day, there's no way that it could have been an airplane, a helo. It couldn't have been a rocket. I mean, it was literally going over us like a satellite, and it stopped for probably 6-7 seconds.
Whoa.
And I stood up, and as soon as I said, "Do you guys see that?" the second time, it shined. It was like a, what do you call it? A lens, like when you take a picture,
Yeah.
the flash. It was like a flash, and then it just shot off. It was nuts. It was sort of like what happened in Jerusalem. There was like years ago. Like if you can pull this video up on your phone, there's this like ball of light,
You want me
this
to do that
orb, if you want. There's this orb that went over the old city, and these people are filming it, man. And there's this like woman from Tennessee. It goes, "Oh my gosh, look at that thing over there!" But I'm telling you, this thing, it was a light, and it was an orb, and it came right down over the Dome of the Rock, I believe.
No way.
Oh yeah. And then after the woman goes, "What is that?" The whole city, there was a flash of light and it shot up straight into space. I'm not kidding.
It's 2011.
Is that when it was? Because that's when I saw.
Oh, well, Holy Land hoax. Jerusalem UFO not kosher.
Of course, it's not kosher.
That's what it says. That's the article. Not kosher. Benjamin Radford. Way too.
Watch the video, man.
Okay.
I'm telling you. Listen, I'm gonna pull it up, but
I'm trying, but I'm just getting Benjamin's article on this.
no, and they're
His
real.
anti-Semitic
But anyways,
article.
as we go back to the first. Can y'all please turn your
Your
phone
wife's
off?
phone. What is she doing?
We're blowing up.
My gosh.
People are listening. While y'all are looking that up, I'm going to read a few reviews. We
Yeah,
had
go
a few
ahead.
come in
I
since
love
our
it.
last episode.
Okay.
June 28th, Supercell. So funny. I love this. Please make more. We're making more.
Oh, you know it.
We're going to be making more for a long possibly long time.
I think like
Few
in the
more
next
weeks.
few more weeks,
A few more weeks.
we might be having some swag come out.
Hey.
Oh yeah. I see the orb. It just took off. I
Yeah.
saw that.
July
look at that.
1st.
Look at that.
Oh, that's on the early show.
Hold on one second. He's reading something else.
Okay.
July 1st. Very random, but very good. I love these guys. Awesome podcast.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Hey,
I don't know who that is.
it's an awesome podcast
You know what?
if it's not a
It's-
good podcast.
That's really nice.
Awesome podcast is a different podcast. This is not a good podcast.
Hilarious podcast. This is a recent review. Refreshing podcast where dudes just being dudes unapologetically. Keep it up, guys.
Apologetics. That's good.
That's from Ruth.
Yeah.
Ruth. I love it.
Oh, Ruth.
I love it. So I'm seeing this video.
Yep.
UFO in Jerusalem. This is ABC. And it's just it's horrible footage. It's all grainy. But this
The
bright
original.
orb just drops down above the Dome of the Rock and then holds there for 5 seconds.
Yep.
And then goes shoop, straight
That's
up.
it. That I'm telling you, man. I saw that, but it was like 60,000 foot up,
I believe it. So
and it was in 2011.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Reptilian shapeshifters, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's anything.
Is that
about
not what the
it.
skinwalkers technically
Oh yeah,
are?
that's true. That's true. Skinwalkers. I don't know the scientific term because I don't think science has touched on it.
Yeah.
But the Indian reference to it, the Native American,
Yep.
is they're creatures that change shape into wolves, into bears, and then they shape into
Yeah.
humans, and they freak out people.
I'll tell you what. I learned this from the guy named Sue Klaus on Ancient Aliens. You know why the Indians, when they would greet each other, they would hold a hand up and go, how?
Because
They
it
would
showed
do
how many
that.
fingers they had.
Showed how many fingers they
Yes.
had. That's
Oh.
not a joke, man.
Yeah.
That is not a joke. The star people. So they would hold their hands up like this if they had 6 fingers. Anything over 5, they'd be like, it's not human. It's not one of us.
That just made my Cherokee blood give me goosebumps.
Yeah. I mean, that's real.
Wife, you're part Indian, right? Yeah.
Cherokee.
Cherokee? Yeah. You are too?
Let's go.
You are too.
Yeah, my sister did the ancestry thing where the Mormons take your DNA to make sure you get your own planet when you die or whatever.
Okay.
And they found out that like some old redneck married a tribal chief, like Silver Horse.
You know, that happened in
Silver
my
Horse's
family.
tribal chief or something.
For real?
Yeah,
The
no,
real
for real.
name.
No way.
Passed
so
down.
My wife says she's Cherokee, but her grandparents are from Germany and Greece. And my children have blonde hair and blue eyes. And my wife has blonde hair and green eyes. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I believe my wife's family's from, the
Foothills.
the
They're Tar Hills.
Well, I mean, Cherokee's is in that area, right?
Yeah, North Carolina, man.
Dude, growing up, there were burial grounds, which now, who knows who built those things?
Oh, the mounds?
They were in basically my backyard.
Oh, that's where we go hiking. We call them the graveyard fields
Or the big mounds?
in North Carolina.
I hear
So
I hear that's where they buried giant skeletons. They weren't skeletons at the time, but they were
They were actually
Nephilim.
the Cherokee, I want to say, were relocated from the Trail of Tears in Oklahoma
Yep, something like that.
all the way over to North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, in that area.
Wow.
I'm telling you, so on
And they took the giants.
the
with them.
mountain where I grew up,
Yeah.
it's crazy, man. We used to 4-wheel all the time through there, and there's some weird
You
stuff.
feel like something's watching you in the woods.
Oh yeah,
But like-
oh man,
But
so
it shifts like that,
oh yeah,
and it gets eerily quiet. Crickets
telling you.
stop cricking.
there are some weird stuff that goes on in those woods. I mean, so the Indians used to like bend trees to like
Yeah.
make.
X's.
They
Or-
would do like X's, L's, and all that stuff to show like, hey, like this is a trailhead for this. So I found a bunch of those, and my brother and me and a few friends, we were up on top of a mountain one time, and we found a tree that has carvings in it all the way to the very top of the tree, like different carvings. And it wasn't like,
They were hopping on
Keith
each
and
other's
Stacy,
shoulders.
1987, like it was like weird
Ooh.
stuff.
Is this the time that you were shooting in the woods because you thought you were being trailed?
So, okay, no. So speaking of,
Someone has another
telling
story. So some guy just started shooting at us.
so this is what happened. Me and a friend of mine, I won't say his name either. This is the most redneck guy that you will
Make up
ever
a name.
meet.
Make up a name.
Daryl. That's it.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Good redneck.
Okay. So
We'll let it pass.
Daryl and me decide, hey, we're going to go hunting raccoons. And so we did it with a spotlight. And so we pull off this road one night, and we're in the middle of the woods, man. And we get to walking, and we probably walked a good half hour into the woods, and our light goes out. And so we're just like, okay, there's enough light, enough natural light where we can we'll make it back to the truck. We'll be okay. But this is before like cell phones, and you had your light on your cell phone, right? And we're not taking our phones into the woods with us.
The flip phone.
Yeah, totally. So we were walking back,
Old razors.
and he puts his hand, on my chest. He said, "Hey, man, you hear that?" We were walking, and you could hear the leaves start crunching as we're walking. He said, "You hear that?" We stopped, and you could hear someone take 2 steps.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, "Is anybody there?" Nobody said anything. We didn't hear anything. So we're like, "All right, let's go." So we kept walking.
You hear the thunder?
Yeah, that was good.
This is good. It's perfect
Hey.
timing.
So we kept walking, and he grabbed me again, didn't say anything, just to stop me. We stopped, and I heard somebody, and they stopped, and you could hear them. And I'm telling you, it wasn't like a deer. It wasn't like a raccoon.
It was following you.
I don't know what it was, but it freaked us out so much that we unloaded our guns into the woods.
Yeah.
Like whatever it was, we unloaded. I don't know. We had like 7 shots apiece in our shotguns, and we just
Poor
lit
guy.
it up screaming.
His guy named Keith that was mute. He was going for a walk. Going for a walk in North Carolina. And he was just enjoying the woods.
But look, dude, like
There were some guys out on my property at night.
I'm telling you, man, to this day, I've never been back to that spot, but we lit those woods up.
Oh, my
I mean, we
gosh.
were just unloading, screaming, ah, pow, pow, pow. But that's not the first. I mean, I've had some weird stuff happen to me in the woods. That's why I don't want to move back and live in the woods.
Yeah.
Some guy in North Carolina is having a podcast right now telling the opposite side of the story.
He's got
There were these 2
he's got one
weirdos
leg.
walking in the woods.
And I was quiet because I didn't know what they were going to do to me. And they started shooting at me, yelling, "What do you want? What do you want?"
He's just like, man, I was just trying to be quiet. I didn't want to get shot.
They started unloading on me.
Shot me 6 times. Whatever it was, man. I don't know. And I'm telling you, so we had
Episode
to.
of died and one of those TV shows that almost died or survived.
Somehow
I survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like, I don't know, a few months later, we had a camp out on my grandpa's mountain, and it was probably a good mile from his house on trails to get where we were going. So we were going to have a night where we were going to play paintball at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I just invited a bunch of guys. There's probably 10 or 15 of us up there. And I was just going down the mountain to pick people up on 4-wheelers and bring them back. So it was me and my buddy and my brother. And my buddy was sitting on the front. My brother had a 4-wheeler driving behind me. And we were going to go up and scare everybody. And like we were going to pull off into the distance and walk up and scare everybody at the fire. And as we got off, because these are old logging trails, that's where we rode forward. They're old logging trails. And so my lights, when I had cut a new trail, me and my brother and some friends had cut a trail, and I said, hey, let's take this new trail up and we'll cut back around everybody. and we'll scare them. And as soon as I cut up the hill, my 4-wheeler lights turned across the trail, and when it did, I saw someone's legs.
Oh.
It caught him from the waist down. I am not kidding. Caught him from the waist down, and they ran across. And dude, look at the chills I'm getting. It freaked me out. And I said, you know what? I said, I bet it's one of our buddies that was trying to freak us out, because a few of them knew the woods just as good as we did up there, because that's where we spent most of our time. And man, we showed up.
Everybody was there.
Everybody was there. We ended up 4-wheeling a few weeks later through there, and we found a crucifix in the woods that was probably 15 feet tall, and it had rocks that were piled about 3 foot tall at the base of it. Weird stuff, man.
I mean, it was probably witch cover,
ritual.
Like a ritual site.
But we lived there. We lived there. And
that's for real.
We had a. I'm sorry to keep talking, but man, I could talk about this stuff for days.
Gosh, it's been 20 minutes, man.
I think
you talking.
I think Cedar Vane needs to make a trip back out there, because that's some spiritual dirt right there.
So I sent you both a video of this guy biking in the woods. Did you get this video? Yeah, and then it was just like creature.
Wait, no, I didn't see that.
No,
I didn't get that either.
So he was riding, and then all of a sudden, the woods got quiet. He passed bones and stuff. He's like, "Oh, that's weird," and he stopped, and there was a fork in the road. There's like, which way, the dark path or the light path? And in the light path, this creature just bent over, all gangly looking.
Yeah,
and it was probably like 6 foot tall, something bent over. And he's like, nope. And then he's turned around and just booked it. And it even zoomed in. I got to find this video. And I'll share it with you guys later.
There's some weird stuff that happens, man. I got one more, and then we can go to a commercial break if you want.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, so my wife just texted me and said I got to tell this story. So
He's right behind you.
I know. I had this Dalmatian, right? Let me take a sip of water real quick. So I had this Dalmatian when I was probably like 7, 8 years old. And we had built this big, like half-acre pen for it to keep it in during the daytime while we were gone. And we woke up one morning as we were heading to school, and the dog was gone. And the gate was closed. We looked around, it hadn't dug out, nothing like that.
Someone took it.
Yeah, someone did take it, right? So weeks went by, maybe even like a month or two. And we woke up one morning and the dog was put back in the pen.
What?
And it was snotting, walking around all weird. I mean, it was crazy. It was put back in the pen, gate was shut, and we were like, what the heck, man?
It's a UFO. Probably dropped it back in.
Well, so apparently what happened was there's a bunch of weirdo witches and warlocks that live on these mountains. They do a bunch of rituals up there. And they tried to do something with our dog. And I don't know what had happened, but apparently they brought it back and put it in the pen. I mean, I'm telling you, man, it was a good month at least.
Ooh.
This dog was gone. And then it came back. We had to take him that day. We took him to the vet and put him down because it was so bad. I mean, he was not in his right mind. It was like they hit him over the head or whatever, but it was sad, man.
Back when we were living in New York, we heard a stat that a majority or a good portion of the abductions are from they go missing, never return from like sacrifices.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a true story.
For animals?
Yeah, we've heard firsthand account of not even animals, but animals happen all the
people.
time. And like dead animals end up on your doorstep. That's some like ritual thing. But the scary stuff is like people going missing, and those are actually human sacrifices.
Have you ever seen like
a human
missing?
Sacrifice?
No. Yeah.
No.
Have you ever seen the missing people? Like if you look at like the national parks where there's like a lot of caves, and you see how many missing people there are there. There's a map that you guys can go online, and it shows how many missing people there are in those areas.
Do you think that's because of like Bigfoot?
Nephilim.
Yeah, people think
Sacrifice. It's
that-
all evil.
I think
Bigfoot is a Nephilim.
I think Bigfoot travels through stargates.
yeah.
That's why no one can find
So
him.
okay, back to the Skinwalker.
Before I took us off track.
No. This is like this is a different podcast.
This is not a good
This is
podcast.
not-
We talk about what we want.
What we want to do what we want to do.
Screw you, man. That was PB.
So back to Skinwalker Ranch. Their recent episodes is they took LiDAR scan with the drone above their ranch, and there was a black hole that it absorbed all the LiDAR scans, didn't bounce back, and it's a perfect like circle, like not. It's kind of like
Spherical.
a dented circle, and then there's a red highlight, probably 20 feet outside of it, and the red means it's the most reflective, and so inside the circle, no reflection, and so like this could be a black hole or wormhole, and
Whoa.
like this is the first time they've ever documented something like that. And that was last Tuesday's episode.
I wonder if we could go make a visit.
Spoiler alert. We haven't watched it yet.
So that was like
Who's the
that's
season
just a
one?
preview.
That was
That's
season
a
one.
preview. There's more happens in that episode. They do a
Yeah.
lot of rocket launches. Oh shoot, I should stop talking about. But
We fired something off over the mesa.
The
and it
mesa?
disappeared into a black hole, and
Black
dragons
hole?
over there
Is
like,
that
where'd
guy?
it go?
there's an orb out there.
I've been working in UAPs for years now, and I've never seen anything like it here on Skinwalker Ranch. Thanks, Randy. Hey, Randy just
No,
called
no,
in.
no. Blaze. What's the guy's name? Blaze is
Blake, is that his name?
No. Blaze is. Oh, what's the guy's name? Is the security guy?
It's
Dragon. His name
Dragon.
Dragon. That's his name.
Dragon.
Dragon.
Man, he's taking his job serious.
And I run security at Skinwalker.
Skinwalker. Man, there's nothing
You've got
secure.
to have a name like Dragon if you're going to do security.
Oh, man. He's so concerned because he can't control anything on that farm. So many things die, and he still has a job.
Job security.
I don't
He
know how.
contacted the guy one day. Hey, there's some weird stuff going on out here. 3 years later.
It was Dragon
It's
the whole
actually,
time.
it's actually Dragon.
It was
He's
Dragon killing these.
Well, I've really been
He's
killing
like,
the llamas
"Oh, man,
and the
I've
cows.
got this thing for mutilating cows.
This prank has really gotten out of hand.
Dragon.
Dragon. Old dragon.
Oh man.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, we're talking about reptilian shapeshifters, shapeshifters of all kind. So speaking of shapeshifters, I think Mark Zuckerberg is a reptilian shapeshifter.
Oh, man.
And I think
Have you seen him in Congress?
I think if he fights Elon, he's going to reveal his true form and eat him.
At the end.
Wow.
Oh, that has to be the end if he's eating him,
Yeah.
because that's how it ends.
Well, no, it's like
He never blinks.
like round one, like
Yeah.
who you got?
Ever.
Who you got? Elon versus Mark Zuckerberg in in a cage fight.
You know, I'm gonna look that up.
I'm
How
going to
many
say
times did
Elon.
Mark's been training
Elon?
with like MMA guys.
But Elon
Yeah, but
has Neuralink,
Yeah.
so he should be
he
quicker.
just
gonna-
upload
oh
a new
my
program inside of his head, and it's
You
just
have
like,
the, you have the reptiles,
Muay Thai.
the shapeshifter in one corner, and then the man, the bionic man generated by AI in the other corner. Look at that.
Yes. What else are you gonna say?
No, that was it. I
So-
think Elon would take him, but then if Zuckerberg
My
just
money's on
reveals his
Elon.
final form, and
My money's on Elon.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg's gonna.
I think
Shimmy his
Zuckerberg's
teeth down.
I think Zuckerberg's such a dweeb. Like he really is a dweeb.
Yeah.
Well, if we ever advertise on Facebook, we're kidding. We're kidding, Mark.
I'm not.
Oh
I think you're a dweeb.
man, you're gonna get us canceled.
Didn't he like start Facebook because he couldn't get friends?
He stole the idea.
He
of
stole Facebook. Yeah. Well, speaking of fights, tell us a story about some fights you guys have gotten in, like actual
I
fights.
hit- I
have
hit-
you
I'm
ever
gonna
been in
let
an
people do
actual
this.
fist
Okay,
fight?
Yeah.
okay, I got one. So, this is post back brace.
I'll put you in a back
Oh,
brace.
I can't say his full name. Okay. So this tool. Oh no, I can't. So this neighbor was always playing hockey in the summer.
Not the plant sniffer.
No, this is the one next to him, two doors down. He was just he's a tool. Like, I think you two would have been really good friends. I mean, like bullying neighbors. Like,
I never bullied anybody, okay?
You got bullied, and then you started bullying.
Yeah, man. I got to take up for myself.
Just switched. So he always wore his face mask around, like his hockey mask, and like his gloves,
like
his,
Jason,
like a Jason mask.
Yeah, but he's just like running around in the cul-de-sac with his face mask and his hockey stick and big gloves,
tickling people.
And
But that thing
we were
smelled.
friends. We were friends, but man, I hated him. Hated his guts, and he just was so mean. He was so. I just jumped, and I snapped, and I jumped on him and started hitting him, but his face mask was still on, so I was just hitting him in the head. Ooh. And
it's not doing anything.
No, I just like felt so good, but it didn't like. I didn't actually hurt him.
Yeah.
And then my brother pulled me off of him, and then broke it up. That was like the first thought of the first fight.
Yeah.
It's just the feeling of rage and just going for it.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, another story is my brother and I got into it. We always had this rule: no face shots. Don't hit in the face. All right. So my parents were doing this yard sale. My wife and I just got married, and we come over to the house right after the honeymoon, and everyone was helping with the yard sale. And then I had told my brother to do something. He's like, "I'm not your B." And then he kind of
after
pointed.
You got married, you got in a fight.
But he pointed backwards, and I was like, "You just pointed at my wife."
Oh no!
And I jumped on him, and we brawled.
Good grief! How old were you? Like 25?
I was 21.
That's still, you're a grown man.
Yeah, I was so raging. I was so mad.
A raging Cajun.
And then, like my dad broke it up. Stop it, you guys! Stop it! Hey! I got neighbors like buying.
You want to fight somebody? You fight me.
I got neighbors in the cul-de-sac, buying things off the table, and seeing this pastor's house. This his boys fighting, grown men fighting, and
pastor's kids.
My dad sent us down to the basement and figure it out. Go downstairs, figure this out. I was so pissed. I was so raging.
It's for you. It's for your own good.
It's for your own good.
Sit down and shut up.
Let me steer this Titanic submarine back to fights. Johnny V, I feel like you've got a plethora of fight stories.
And so
he does. Yes.
When I say I have cousins, my wife goes, but she's like your typical suburban, what do you call it? Just, I don't know, hoity-toity. Like, it's like,
you're going to say something else.
No, it's just like, oh yeah, my cousin, I have 2 or 3. But like where I'm from, it's like, you mean cousins? We consider our 4th and 5th, right. Once removed, whatever. And so, anyways, I've got tons.
You may not even know their names. They show up at a family reunion.
Oh, dude,
they're
no
your
way.
Cousin.
It's like, no way.
Who?
Yeah. So I had a cousin, man.
Shapeshifters.
No. We had a lot of temper. Even the girls have temper. Like bad tempers.
All redheads?
No.
They have to be.
No, they're not. I mean, there's like 10 of us that are redhead. But
That's
like,
a lot of redheads. That's a lot of redheads.
But this one, man, my cousin Matt, he used to tick me off so bad. It was one of those situations where I could joke with him, but if he joked with me, I took it personal and I wanted to hit him.
Oh yeah.
But we got into so many fights, and one fight in particular, it was my parents had bought this house, and my grandpa had all of his men working remodeling the house, and my cousin was over there one day, and he's probably 2-3 years older than me, and I think I was about 9 or 10. And my mom's like, "Hey, we've got to go. We had an appointment to get to," and I said, "Hey guys, I'm about to leave," but we had moved our stuff in. It was in the basement. I said, "Y'all can play with any of the footballs downstairs." I said, "Just don't play with my Minnesota Vikings football."
The signed one?
It was, yeah, like Randy Moss and all those guys. I said, "Just don't play with it." I said, "You can play with anything else you want. Don't play with that football."
How old were you? Did you say how old?
About 9 or 10.
Okay.
That was your football?
It was my football.
Man,
So I come back about 2 hours later,
you had
and
nice stuff.
I didn't even go up to them. I went straight downstairs just to double check that they didn't pick the football. And it was in a box. It was in a box.
Like
Never been open.
Like a glass.
Yeah, no,
case?
no, it was just in a nice cardboard
Okay.
box. You know, I mean, I bought it from Champ Sporting Goods or something.
Gotcha.
To me, it was a
Oh,
yeah.
Not signed.
So maybe.
No, I think it had
It
like
had gold signed.
yeah,
It was
you know,
his
I mean, to a
signature.
kid, it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
man, I paid $25 for this. I liked
yeah.
it. You know,
that was big money back
yeah.
then, too.
So,
It was his
anyways,
signature.
I go
screen
downstairs.
Yeah, it
printed
was.
into
It was.
and I see the box top
We
is
just blew his
open,
mind right there.
and I see. What did you say?
We just blew your mind. You're like, wait, it wasn't signed.
Oh gosh.
It's imprinted. Mass produced.
It's true. It was
You
fake.
fought over fake football.
Well, no, listen. So what happened is, you talk about red rage. I saw the box and it was open, and I saw the football and it was turned around, and there was a dirt scuff on
Oh
it.
no.
What?
So I just went to my ball bag, and I got my baseball bat out,
Yes.
and I walked upstairs and I hid it behind my back. And
gosh.
my cousin Matt's
Someone gets
standing there.
murdered in this story.
And I walk up, he's like, "Hey man." I was like, "Hey man."
Crazy eyes. Crazy eyes.
I beat the snot out of him with my dude. They had to pull me off of him. I was so mad at this guy, but I can't tell you how many times he was bigger than me, and I knew. I was like, "Listen, if I ever get in a fight with this guy, it's going to be all out, because he could hurt me." And so every time I got in a fight with him, it was always my grandpa or my parents pulling me off of him, and I used to beat the snot out of him.
That's it for Not a Good Podcast this episode. Join us next time with PB and Johnny V.
You've been listening to Not a Good Podcast. Tune in next time.
Hey, we want to thank you guys for listening to Not a Good Podcast. If you like what you're hearing, drop us a 5-star review, subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check us out on notagoodpodcast.com. Blessings on your household.
And donate.
Shalom.
And donate. There's a donate button?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if it's a button. It's
Is it-
more
it's
of a,
on the website?
Yeah, it's on the website. Patreon and PayPal. So we are on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Podcast Addicts, and iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
I miss Casey Kasem.
Is he still doing ads?
He's been
He's
dead,
dead.
for like 10
But
years.
why does his voice still? Are they?
You guys
did
remember
they-
Casey
did-
Kasem's
no,
top 100?
Did they?
Kasem.
Did they like AI his voice? There's this old.
I don't know, but I know that
guy.
his family's been fighting over his body for like
Oh, yeah.
10 years now.
Right.
Did he die in the studio?
Dude's not even dead.
Wait,
I mean, sorry, he's not even buried. He's dead.
Where is he?
he's frozen next to Walt Disney.
Wow.
Is this episode 5?
This is.